Hey, well, welcome back, everybody. It's Nicola Cairncross here, and I'm really pleased to see you. I've actually recently gone through a massive cull on my YouTube channel and got rid of all the videos that were not good enough or were not getting much response or were not about becoming a better entrepreneur, which is what this whole channel really is all about. And what I'm doing now is I'm writing a new book. My first book was, of course, The Money Gym, and I was very proud of that. And then I had a couple of books where I was compiling interviews that I'd done with entrepreneurs, and they're very much worth reading. Mindset, Marketing and Money is one of them, and The Money Gym Tips was the other one. So do go and check those out. But now I'm wanting to write my own personal memoir, my story of being an entrepreneur all my life, a raging entrepreneur, and then also the lessons I've learned along the way. So what I thought I might do to keep me accountable and to keep this channel going while YouTube figures out the algorithm again after the big cull of the videos that I've just had is to read my book out loud. So I thought every week I could read a couple of chapters, one at a time, and then I could also give you an update each week on how things are going in my own business. And hopefully that'll be enough to keep you interested and to keep the channel going and figure out what I want to do next. I've got quite an exciting side project I'm going to have a go at after I've written the next chapter of the book today, because I do want to try things out, and I will let you know how they go. So that's going to be one of the things that I'll be doing as well. So give us a like, and I will now crack on with reading chapter 1 of what is loosely called at the moment The Entrepreneur's Journey. And I know there are other books called that as well, but there'll be a strapline as well, hopefully, to differentiate it. I'm going to put a link in the description underneath. I've got about 5 titles that I'm considering, and I really welcome your feedback. So if you wouldn't mind going and clicking the link in the description and just literally putting a tick next to the box, next to the title that you think would be most likely to get you to pick up the book off the shelf or to click on the book if you saw it going past on Amazon. Anyway, let's get on with chapter 1, shall we? I think I'm going to share my screen so the visual people amongst you can read at the same time as listening. And then also it'll go on to the podcast in the form of audio. Now, this obviously isn't the finished version. So I do welcome your feedback. I welcome your questions. I welcome the bits you'd like to know a bit more about. And if, I think could be quite fun. Stephen King wrote a novel like this. And I know that Charles Dickens did, although he wasn't able to get feedback from the people who bought his penny dreadfuls, as they were called then. So I really do welcome your feedback. Anything you want to know more about or you don't understand, just let me know. Okay, let's go and have a look, shall we? Chapter 1, Stop Whining. You must take 100% responsibility for your results. When you do, magical things will happen, mentors will appear, and invisible doors will open. That's a quote from me. I hope you can't hear the seagulls, by the way. Let's put my microphone a bit closer. There we go. So once upon a time, there was an ordinary woman aged 35. She was 5'7" in height with mid-brown hair. She wasn't fat and she wasn't thin, although her tummy was getting bigger by the week. This woman was not long married, just a couple of weeks ago, in fact. The ceremony had been held on the 21st of June, 1995 at Brent Registry Office, and the happy couple hosted the reception at their small rented house in Kensal Rise. It had been an amazing day, and even though they'd had to scrimp and scrape, they spent a little bit more on the things that they felt mattered and saved on the things that didn't. The food and cake was amazing, their rings were real gold, but everything else was homemade, including the marquee in the garden to extend the dining and dancing area. Her husband was in the music industry, and there were 5 DJs playing in the corner of the living room, not all at once, I've just realised, throughout the day, starting with jazz, then funky hip-hop through to house and garage music. All of their friends and family were there, including their daughter, born just 2 years before. The party had carried on until the wee small hours, and this woman knew that she would never forget it as long as she lived. A video had been taken as well, which I just found recently. The happy couple had a week off, and in lieu of a honeymoon, because they couldn't afford to actually go anywhere, they had a nice week at home with their daughter. Their husband painted the living room and hall in their rented house, which freshened things up a bit. Money worries aside, this woman felt happy and content. She now had a wonderful husband, a beautiful baby girl asleep upstairs, and another baby on the way. Her life was complete, surely. Then the phone call came. Her husband had gone back to work after his week off at the exciting new digital dance radio station he'd been working at for just a few months. He was calling from there now. The next round of investment they had been hoping for hadn't come in time. Everyone had been made redundant. He was coming home. The woman stood in the sunlit living room and looked in the mirror above the fireplace and felt utter despair. This was the third redundancy in a year, and they were all out of money. How were they going to pay the rent at the end of the month, let alone put food on the table? How could she get a job to help, any job, when she was 6 months pregnant? Why did this keep happening to them? Why did they never seem to be able to make more money than they needed? No, it was more personal than that. It was not even we, it was me, she thought. That's it. You're married now, and even your husband's not going to be able to save you. He's lovely, but he's not a knight in horseback with a shining sword ready to fight your money demons for you. Her next thought was, what is actually wrong with me? I'm bright, hardworking, I'm willing to go the extra mile, and I've always worked harder and smarter than everyone around me, but I always seem totally unable to earn more, keep more, save anything, or invest for the future. Why do promising jobs get so boring so fast? Why do I end up leaving or being let go? Why can I not stick at anything that is not owned by me? Why do each of my little businesses that start so well fail? Why do I struggle with money all the time? While S, for example, sails through life just getting richer and richer. Sure, she works hard, but so do I. S was one of this woman's best friends at the time. Then she asked herself a very important question, although she didn't know it then. What does S and all those other rich people out there know about money and how it works that's different to what I know? And just like that, everything changed. Because while all the first questions were personal, pervasive, and permanent, that last question was the right question. The first three were pessimistic questions, while the last question was an empowering, optimistic question. What did all those other seemingly ordinary people know about how money works that was different to what this ordinary woman knew? There must be some other brown-haired, 5'7" tall woman with 2 babies and a new husband out there who was born in a small seaside town just like I was, who is rich now, but who didn't start out that way. What does she know that I don't? And that was where her journey started. That question was the key that unlocked the door to the rest of her life. That question made the stars stop spinning just for a second and the heavens realigned. Everything changed for me that day. Yes, this is my story. I hope you enjoy it, and more particularly, that the lessons I've learned help you along your entrepreneur's journey. So what do you think so far? Do you think it's a good enough opening for a book? Do you think if you picked it up in a bookshop or started to read it on Amazon that it would hook you in enough? Are you interested? Do you care? That's the questions I'd love to ask you right now. So thank you very much. And I'll be back in a few days with chapter 2. And love to hear your feedback. Thanks for listening and watching. This video is sponsored by WPExpertUK.com. You run your business, we look after your WordPress site. Basic updates and security patches or full website management, we've got you covered. Available during UK business hours, it's like having an in-house webmaster on your team for a fraction of the cost, a quick message away. Founder Nicola Cairncross has been proudly using WordPress to create the majority of her and her Clicks and Needs clients' websites for over 17 years. We know WordPress inside out. Just visit WPExpertUK.com to find out about our 3 simple price packages. And now, back to the video.